Elpis is an unpredictable place. You never know what to expect. You never know if you're gonna run into murderers.
Or you'll start... because of my action skill!
You are the worst.
Why do I hate Claptrap so much? Because he's the worst. Because he's awful. Why does anybody not hate Claptrap? What's wrong with them? You know Peanuts, Charlie Brown?
Yeah.
To make him like Charlie Brown, where the entire world is just shitting on him all the time, so you feel like, aw. Like, even if you don't like him, even if you find him irritating, you kind of sympathize with him a little bit.
Yeah.
That was the hope.
But somehow, today will be Elpis's last hope.
A bunch of fanatic soldiers will try to destroy the world. Kill thousands of innocent people.
Yeah, we chose Claptrap partially to piss me off because I really don't like Claptrap. And partially because for some reason there's some people that do like Claptrap and we wanted those like 8 people to have a character they could really enjoy. But also because we're big believers in trying to make comedy come through the gameplay, and because Claptrap is such an inherently like tragic figure that nobody likes, and he's really divisive, and I mean like nobody in the game likes him, or people in real life like him or whatever, like I don't. But we thought it'd be funny to try and design a character around the idea of like what's a guy that's like kind of irritating but kind of endearing and like can kind of help but is also kind of random, and so Jonathan Hemingway and Tommy Westerman and Matt Armstrong and a lot of the guys at 2K Australia helped design basically this character who is a walking chaos bomb and you don't know what he's going to do next, and sometimes it's going to be great and sometimes it's going to be like, oh my god, why did you do that, Claptrap? The focus groups we've had in are unfortunately all crazy people who really like Claptrap. So I can't speak to like the sane population, but I'm sure someone will judge you very harshly for playing Claptrap. I'm sure there will be servers full of 4 Claptraps that will be somewhere I will never want to go.
I can tell you there's more than there were in Borderlands 2 because we've added the entire class of laser weapons. Laser weapons have got like 4 little subclasses, and so they fire, you know, in a bunch of different ways. So you've got like energy beams and blaster bolts and things like that. So adding the laser weapons has basically expanded the pool of total weapons that there are in Borderlands pre-sequel now. So gazillion.
Yeah, let's go with that. Made up number, larger made up number.
But today, we're going to save the world. Because on Elpis,
we're going to dance!
Yeah, we're not doing that.
We thought that it was going to mix things up too much to add like a lot of the low gravity stuff, and it definitely did present some interesting challenges. Like suddenly the player is far more mobile. They can get to places that we'd never needed to allow them to access previously, like rooftops and behind buildings and all sorts of stuff. So level design, that was a big challenge, but overall, like do you want me to hold that? Is that?
It's fine. I'm interviewing you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. But overall, what it's added is like just the ability to get above the battlefield. It basically opens up the sky to combat, and that has added so much more than what we expected, and it was easier to implement than we thought as well. So basically, it's just been this massive win, and now honestly, I find it hard to go back to Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 1 because of the new sort of mobility and verticality that we've added to the game. It just makes it so much so dynamic and exciting.
Yeah, same here. It's so much more fun because you have so many maneuverability options, and because the slam and the cryo give you options to like stop enemies from shooting at you or popping their helmets. It's much less of a game about getting behind cover and waiting, and much more of a game about just going crazy and getting right in the middle of everything, and then just slamming and popping somebody's helmet and then freezing somebody else, and then just getting right in there and always be moving. It's very hard for me to go back to Borderlands 2 in a world where there was just regular jumping. Where we knew we wanted this to take place between Borderlands 1 and 2. That meant Jack could be involved because people kind of like Jack. So we thought, okay, well, what are the characters that had a lot to do with Jack? And we thought, well, it'd be kind of fun if we took bosses from Borderlands 2 that you didn't really get much screen time with and kind of fleshed them out a little bit more, maybe even made them a little bit more likable. I don't know if we did that or not, but we'll see. And so we took Wilhelm, because there's a lot of dialogue about how big a deal Wilhelm is, but we didn't quite get to implement everything we wanted to with him in Borderlands 2. We got Nisha, because she was his girlfriend, and that would be really cool. And then with the last 2, it was kind of a little bit up in the air. We thought, okay, well, a Claptrap would be fun, because that's really, really different. And then the 4th character, we were trying to rack our brains for somebody else, And then it occurred to us that, like, well, we haven't seen Athena since Borderlands 1, and she was a really neat character, and it would be great to have her to round out the cast and have her be this sort of... Because one of the dangers of a prequel is you go into it, and if that character is going to die in the future, you know what happens to them, and if that can remove a little bit of the dramatic tension. But having Athena around makes you go, okay, I actually don't know what's going to happen to her at the end of this story, because she doesn't show up in Borderlands 2. Does she die? Does she get taken away? Does she join Jack? And you're like, you don't know. But yeah, it was kind of fun to retroactively take those characters that were already kind of like one thing in Borderlands 2 and then go, well, what if you saw this slightly different side of them in pre-sequel?
It's definitely one thing that I love about the Borderlands franchise is that it's so rich with interesting characters all throughout. It's way back at the beginning, of Borderlands 1, throughout the entire franchise, you can mine it for these amazing characters that you can bring to life in the sort of playable sense, and that's exactly what we wanted to do with Athena.
We got Moxie. Moxie's on the moon for some reason. And there will be some other characters who will have sort of cameos over the radio or whatever, but there's a lot of new characters as well, because we've never been to the moon before, so we're going to meet new people like Janie Springs or Nurse Nina or Pickle. There's a lot of new characters that the guys at 2K Australia, or Morris Suckling and Merrick Walton, two of the writers that worked full time with 2K Australia, they wrote the majority of the game, and those are their sort of new characters and their babies, and it's going to be sort of fun to see how people react to those characters.
Well, we couldn't leave it without incorporating some of the fan favorites as well. So there are quite a few awesome cameos, unexpected cameos from fan favorite characters, and of course some bigger roles as well. So yeah, I mean, obviously Pandora, it's more Earth-like. So, but the moon is obviously more moon-like. It's a bit like our moon. So you're not going to find like jungles on the moon, or at least probably not. So there's a little bit less of a variety, but that's not really true at the same time, because the different regions that you visit on the moon are all quite different, and you wouldn't mistake one for another, and each one has its own sort of hazards and its own wildlife and its own infestation of bandits, and you'll visit desolate moonscapes, and you'll visit wrecked starships that have crashed onto the surface of the moon, and then there's the moon base. There's Helios, the starship, the space station that Hyperion is currently building in orbit of Elpis as well.
We're not the good guys. We're not even close to being the good guys. But today, we're going to save the world. Because on Elpis...
We're going to dance!
Yeah, we're not doing that.
I can't remember what that icon goes to. Do you remember? The koala bear?
It's Fuzzy Logic.
Fuzzy Logic.
That's the name of the skill, and it does some stuff. It's in the fragmented frag trap tree, and that tree is all about randomly specializing in a variety of different weapon types and elemental types and things like that. And Fuzzy Logic is one of the top, one of the tier 1 skills. And when you're in that sort of tier, you're sort of purchasing the basic abilities that set the foundation for that entire tree. And Fuzzy Logic is about engaging with the process of selecting new subroutines that make you awesome with pistols, but horrible with everything else. Yeah.
You coming?